perhaps for the first time, to Fred in the Shed 2. If you've come across from Fred in the Shed 1 to see some more of this MAMOD roadster, it's a bit weird for me because I haven't actually made that video yet. But yeah, in this video, we're going to spend a lot more time looking at the roadster, including an unboxing. Now, I don't normally do an unboxing on Fred in the Shed, but I thought it'd make a change. It'd be nice to sort of see the unboxing. But we're going to go right the way through it. We're going to get the roadster out of the box. I'm going to look at it for the first time, and I'm really, really excited about getting one of these very early roadsters. Once we get it out of the box and we've had a quick look at it, I will bring down the Brooklands roadster, the brand new MAMOD Brooklands roadster that I built from a kit. If you haven't seen that, I'll leave a pop-up at the end of this video and you can perhaps go away and see that, because they still make this in 2019. Unbelievable. So yeah, anyway, I'm going to crack on and going to open up this box. So cheers, thanks for tuning in. As I open this box, I should point out that things on Fred in the Shed 2, they're a little bit more laid back than Fred in the Shed 1. The videos sort of tend to be longer. This one's going to be a lot longer than the video that I did on Fred in the Shed 1. My sort of average view retention time is about sort of 3 minutes maximum on Fred in the Shed 1. So here on Fred in the Shed 2, we tend to just be a bit more relaxed, less editing, more mistakes, more mispronunciations, all the stuff that you get on Fred in the Shed 1, but sort of a lot more on Fred in the Shed 2. Well, I hope you're getting this. So we're into the box and it smells really old. Yeah, everything smells really quite old. I mean, this car is from the sort of 70s, and what the hell? What the? Can you see that? That's a Ford KA. That's an original Ford KA. That's not been made for 20 years. Oh my God, look. February the 10th, 2000. This newspaper is 20 years old, or it's 19 years old. Oh, blimey. Oh, wow. Well, that's a bit unexpected. There's a Mark II Seat Ibiza and a Vauxhall. Yeah, V-Reg. So not only is the roadster old, this paper's old as well. Oh, so yeah, the box is pretty manky. He did say that. I've just seen something actually. Where's it on that? It's got the original price tag. I don't know if that's going to focus in. Can you see that? BT's £25.95 in 1978. God, I wonder what that works out. These are about £270 in 2019. I'll work out the inflation calculator and I'll chuck it up on the screen. I wonder if they've sort of gone up or gone down. I've got a feeling that it's probably not much difference. These were never cheap. So, oh, that's the little sort of solid fuel burning pan there. Oh, we've got some instructions. I think these look like the same instructions that I've got with the Brooklands Tourer. Yeah, these have just been sort of copied off the internet. So I've got these anyway. I do intend to completely restore this car. I intend to completely strip this down. Every nut and bolt, everything's coming off. Going to sort of rub it down. Going to primer it in red oxide primer. There is a bit of rust on it. I do know that I've seen the photos and it is very dirty. So, but it is complete, and that is the important thing, because you can get replacement parts for these roadsters second hand, but the price of the parts exceeds the price of the car very, very quickly. And there it is. Oh wow! I know it looks dirty. Okay, don't be put off by that. Yeah, it's filthy. It's pretty filthy, but there it is. A 1978 Mark I, if you like, MAMOD roadster. Wow. It does need some work. It really does need some work, but this is what I wanted. I just wanted a car that was all complete. All of the seats are there. These seats can often get pulled off because people tend to carry these by the seats and only held on with little clips. Even the drive belts. The drive belts are there as well. Spare wheel. Yeah, it is pretty mucky. Let's have a look underneath there. It's not in bad condition there underneath. And there's the boiler, of course, and the feed pipe. It's not in bad condition. So it's pretty old, isn't it? 1978. God dear. that's knocking on a bit, isn't it? It's over 40 years old, isn't it? So anyway, I'm going to set the camera down, and I'll go and get the MAMOD Brooklands Roadster, and I'll just compare them side by side, and I'll just sort of show you some of the differences. They haven't really changed this much at all. And then I think the first thing I really need to do before I even think about cleaning it, I think we just need to test the safety valve. That seems okay. It hasn't been fired up. Now the guy said he hasn't run this for many years, so I don't know even if it runs. There's not a great deal to go wrong, but I think we need to probably oil it up, get the piston oiled, put some descaled water in it, and maybe just fire it up, and just sort of see if there are any leaks or anything that before I start sort of taking it apart. I will have to do a complete descale of the boiler. I expect that to be full of sort of scale. This is a well-used sort of model, but I say a little bit of rust around the side. I knew that, but it is complete. Everything is here, including the drive belts as well. I wonder if they've been replaced at some point. So very dirty, but everything is there, and yeah, what a great restoration project. Anyway, let's go get the new one down. We can have a look at the differences. Here we go. We've got two of them. So this is the Brooklands, MAMOD Brooklands Tourer that I built. Just a few weeks ago now. All that is on the channel, and straight away, if you look at the two models there, you can sort of see on the boiler there. Let me just zoom down a sec. Comparing them side by side, well, the most obvious difference is the fact that you've got this little drain plug on the boiler cap here, and on the newer design, you've got a little sight glass which gives you an indication on the water level. This originally came out 1976, was the first Roadster. They changed from a meth burner, little sort of tray, to solid wax tablets. They changed that in 1977 for health and safety sort of reasons, and then in 1978 they went over to the little sort of glass sight glass there in the boiler. I think that's when they started exporting to Europe, and that sort of met European regulations, so you could sort of keep an eye on the water level, and there was less chance of you sort of boiling dry the boiler, if you like, and maybe sort of damaging the sort of the solder seals on that. So yeah, this puts this one down to 1977, 1970 model. If it's 78, it would have had that. So just the first year in production. Looking at the wheels, they changed these as well. The original one had these 6-spoke sort of wheels. I think these were called the artillery wheels, after an artillery sort of trailer. And then the later one went over to sort of the multi-spoke, which is kind of like keeping with a wooden sort of design of sort of wheel there. Looking at it, I actually prefer the original ones. I know these are a little bit chipped up, but yeah, I actually prefer the original design, but I can sort of see probably why they changed. Another thing they changed was the drive arrangement. Now on the early car here, you have the sort of piston there, that drives the sort of crank, that comes over, drives the flywheel. They've got a first sort of spring belt there, goes to a sort of shaft, and then that comes out on this side, on the left hand side of the car, and then drives the big sort of pulley there, which drives the wheel. On the later one, they changed that. It still comes through, the shaft still comes through to a flywheel. The flywheel is exactly the same, but then there's like a sort of a double band affair with a sort of a reduction gear. And that drives the right hand wheel. Not quite sure, I don't know if this one is a little bit sort of easier to manufacture, but it did mean that the later one apparently has a very slightly increased top speed, so it's a little bit quicker. Not quite sure the reason why they did that, but that was something they did. And do you know what, that's pretty much the only difference. The only difference I can sort of see is the exhaust. On this one, it just sort of, it comes out of the chassis rails there. I don't know if you can sort of just make that out. Whereas on the later one, the exhaust just sort of goes sort of straight down. So yeah, but that's it. I mean, they just never really sort of changed the design. They just carried on making it. And it's just amazing to me, absolutely amazing, that you can still buy the same thing in 2019 that was pretty much designed and built in 1976, and both cars have got front suspension as well. This one's slightly a little bit more sort of saggy, as you'd expect. Got a little bit of negative cam going on with that wheel. So there you go, that is the car. I'm very, very pleased. I'm very, very excited about this project. It's going to take me quite a bit of time. I'm going to have to take all of this apart. All of this sort of, you know, rust will have to be sort of rubbed down and treated. I'm going to sort of primer it and then sort of sort of paint it. I might have to do some soldering, silver soldering, to get the sort of pipe or steam feed out of the boiler. But everything seems to be free. Nothing, it's certainly, you know, it's got some wear on it, as you'd expect for something so old, but everything seems to sort of be free. And yeah, so there we go. So I think for this video, the next stage will be, I think I need to sort of put some water in it and just fire it up, and then sort of, you know, check for any leaks or any seals on the boiler. Hopefully that'll be absolutely fine. If I've got a leak on the boiler, that might cause me a few issues. So anyway, that'll be coming up in just a moment. Before I run the roadster for the first time, just going to use some of this sort of MAMOD lubricating steam oil. Just want to make sure that I get plenty of oil in the piston. I don't think this has been run for sort of some time, and when this gets hot, the last thing I want is for the piston to sort of seize in the bore there. If there's any sort of slight corrosion, it will sort of get quite bad and sort of quite seize. So we're going to just go around and oil everything. I'm not too worried about the axles and the drive shafts at the moment, because, as I say, it's all going to sort of come apart. So yeah, just going to drop some oil in it, and well, take it outside, put some water in, and yeah, let's see if it goes. I'm really quite excited. I know it's all dirty and old and everything, but yeah, I'm really quite excited to see if it runs. Just a few drops of oil here going in just to work into the cylinder. As I say, I do think there might be a little bit of corrosion. Not everybody, you know, and bearing in mind this was aimed at kids, you know, so although you were given a little bit of steam oil at the beginning, not all children would do this every time they run it. They just fill out with water and running it. There's not too much rust in the bore itself. So there we go. That's got that just sort of lubed up a little bit. Oh, that's straight away, that feels a lot easier. Yeah. So we've got the sort of wax kind of paraffin tablets that came with the sort of Brooklyns, but I'm going to ditch those and try out some of this sort of ethanol gel, if you like. It's a bit like napalm, this stuff. It's kind of got, I suppose, sort of methylated, well, not white spirit or methylated spirits or something impregnated into it. And they say that this burns with a cleaner flame. I do find that the wax tablets can tend to be just a little bit sooty and do let off sort of quite a bit of a vapour. So we're going to load this up with some of this sort of gel, and it's quite cheap as well. It's only about, I think, £3 a pop, whereas the tablets are a little bit more than that. So there we go. So we're going to load up this, and yeah, we're going to sort of set fire to this and see if this burns. First, I need to get some distilled water. I'm going to preheat that as well. So next bit of film, we'll be outside. Right, the way this one differs from the later one is the fact that, I say, there is no sort of sight glass, so you just fill up in the top of the boiler here, and you wait for it to just sort of dribble out, and then you replace a little kind of stop clock here. I've checked the safety valve; it seems to work, but there's no fibre washer for either the safety valve or the stopcock, and there's a lot of limescale on there, so this obviously it's going to need a couple of washers, which you can get. I say you get all the parts all available. No sort of problem there. Right, so here we go. Let's hope we don't get any leaks. I've preheated the water, so that should save on the firing time before we get some steam pressure. Well, there you go. Yep, that's flowing out. It's a bit of a messy arrangement. Guess I can understand why they did the sight glass. So I need to just block that off now. It's quite hot. There we go. As I say, no washer on here, so expecting this to leak a little bit of steam. There you go, and then the safety valve going in. So next thing is to light that napalm, and yeah, let's see. There's no drips or anything coming from under the boiler, so hopefully the seals are fine. But we won't really tell till we get it under some sort of pressure. Right, let's change the camera angle. So trying out this napalm jelly for the first time. Is that gone? Can't tell. That might need a little bit of encouragement. Oh no, it's burning. Oh wow, that is an incredibly clean flame. I couldn't even see it burn. That is burning. That's amazing. Right, let's get it in. There we go. Well, I'm impressed by that. That is such a clean clean frame now. Flame, I should say. Sizzling away. Straight away, I'm seeing a little bit of water coming out through the valve. Wow. The drive bands, I think, are going to be completely knackered. I can't imagine that they've got enough tension to drive the wheels. If we get the piston going, I don't think it's going to go self-propel across the ground. Getting a slight leak here. Coming out on the boiler. I did tip it upside down, which probably wasn't a good thing. Right, not sure if you can see that, but yeah, definitely got a leak here. Definitely got a leak on that bottom sort of boiler joint there where it comes into the piston. Definitely it's leaking quite badly. I'm going to need to replace that anyway, because to take all this apart, I will need to take the boiler out, so I'm going to have to desolder that. But I think it did look a little bit kind of sus. I think someone's had a go at that. So yeah, unfortunately, I don't know if we're going to get any sort of steam pressure. It wants to go, I can feel it wants to go, but it's got a big leak. There's definitely a bit of compression there. We're getting a massive leak here though. So yeah, lots of water now really coming out as we're getting under pressure. But it wants to go, look. It does, it wants to go. Oh, it's trying really, really hard, even though it's losing so much water. Oh, it nearly wants to go. If I take the drive off it, it might help. Right, that's the drive disconnected. Oh, I think we may have lost all the water. Yeah, I think we've lost all of the water, so I think I need to get this thing extinguished pretty quick. Right, so, but this stuff, isn't that impressive? That is throwing out loads and loads of heat. Unbelievable. You can't see a flame on it. That is incredibly good. So, right, I think I need to get rid of this, put this out before I burn myself, and then let's have a quick look at the problem, see what the issue was, because I think we've lost all of the water. Right, so, yep, here's the problem. If you sort of look, you can see the sort of steam feed from the boiler there, and it's a bit how you're doing, isn't it? You can sort of see, I think someone's tried to dump a load of solder on that, and yeah, I think that is the problem. It's got to come out anyway, I say, to sort of strip all this down. I've got to pull the boiler out and to repaint everything, so it's going to have to come out. That's a shame, but it was willing. It was certainly putting up a little bit of steam there. It was definitely trying. It just seems to have fouled on the bottom, and that will be a case of that it's probably been overheated at some point with no sight gauge on the front of the boiler there. Yeah, it's probably been left running without water in it, overheated, and of course that being right under the flame there, that's melted and that's lost the seal. But well, there we go. Well, there was some compression. We know the piston was trying to go there, so we do know that there was some compression. And yeah, not a problem. As I say, need to strip that down anyway. So I think the next bit that you will see, which won't be today, but will be sort of basically taking it apart. And yeah, oh, bee just just really got stung. A bee coming. But well, there we go. Well, sorry I couldn't get that running, but as I say, it was really hot. But as I say, it's definitely a nice bit of compression there on the piston. It was trying to go, even though it was pissing out water. It was trying to go. But right, cheers. Stay tuned for the next bit.